Welcome inside another edition of NAHL Central Intelligence, the only show that brings you all the news, notes, highlights, and information from the NAHL Central Division, the most competitive in the league. My name is TJ Shalott, voice of the Austin Bruins. Happy to be your host this week as we take a look back at the week that was and look ahead to the week that will be, as we're in the home stretch with many teams having less than 15 games left to go before the playoffs. Before we get started, the big news this past week, the Aberdeen Wings, by virtue of their victory on Friday night, have clinched the division, and for the fourth time in a row, they will be NAHL Central Division champions. Before we take a look at everything that's coming up, let's go ahead and take a look back at the week that was, and we'll start things off with the individual games that happened this past week, and it all got started on Wednesday night with the Bruins hosting an out-of-division rival, the Minnesota Magicians.
Things got started on Wednesday night as the Bruins played host to their out-of-division rivals, the Minnesota Magicians. It was a decisive win for Austin, 5-2, with 5 different goal scorers. Garrett Dahm and Cullen Rush, the only players in the game with multiple points. The first game of the week between two divisional opponents came on Thursday when the Minnesota Wilderness eked out a win over the Bismarck Bobcats 3-2 at Northwoods Credit Union Arena. Isaac Hankenmeyer-Howe and Tim Piowski netted goals for the Bobcats, but it wasn't enough as Gavin Rasmussen's goal in the third period held up as the game winner for the Wilderness. On Friday, the Bobcats got back on the winning side when they trounced the Bruins 6-1. George Granis and Jack Conroy each lit the lamp twice in the game for the visiting Bismarck Bobcats. The Wings traveled to St. Cloud for 2 games, and thanks to a 3-point night from Jake Goldowski, they won 4-2. This was the game that clinched their 4th consecutive division title. The Wilderness remained at home on Friday, but Minot came in and tripled them up on the scoreboard 6-2. It was last week's guest right here on NAHL Central Intelligence, Blaine Warnert, who logged a hat trick in the game for the Toros. On Saturday, all 6 teams played the same exact opponents at the same locations. Austin got their revenge against the Bobcats with a 5-1 win in front of the home crowd. Rookie forward Ben Oakland scored not only his first NAHL goal, but added a second, while Mason Poolman was good for 3 helpers to lead all scorers. The Wings completed their sweep of St. Cloud with a 4-1 victory led by Liam Frazier's 3 points and Jake Seibel's 20-save effort. The final game on Saturday night, there was much less scoring between the Wilderness and Minotauros this time around, but a different outcome as the Wilderness earned another 1-goal victory with a 2-1 win. And with only 1 game on Sunday, it was the Norsemen who broke open for 6 goals to defeat the Minotauros 6-2. Once again, the Norsemen saw scoring by committee with 6 different players lighting the lamp. Ryan O'Neill led all scorers with 3 points in the game.
So, with all those outstanding performances this past week, who earned the NAHL Central Division's first star of the week?
That honor goes to Minnesota Wilderness goalie Jacob Zakarowicz. The 20-year-old Brown University commit earned 2 wins in his 2 starts and shoved aside 53 of the 56 shots he saw in the games against St. Cloud and Minot. The New York native now has 3 wins in his last 4 games going back to March 31st.
Austin Bruins forward Garrett Dahm was the second star of the week after his 3 points in 3 games performance. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings moving forward, as there are some huge implications coming up this week.
Before we get to this week's interviews, let's take a look at the standings after last week's results. As we mentioned before, the Wings clinched the division title on Friday night with a win and earned the sweep in general, catapulting them to 83 total points on the season. That leads all of the North American Hockey League. With the Bobcats dropping 2 of 3, they only earned 2 points out of a possible 6, but they kept their distance in front of Minot, who also fell in 2 out of 3 games. 7 points in total separate those 2 North Dakota teams. As for the bottom half, only 8 points separate the Wilderness, Bruins, and Norsemen for that final playoff spot. Currently, the Wilderness are the final team in the playoff picture as of right now, and having won 2 out of 3 games this past week, it prevented both Austin and St. Cloud from making up any ground. Like the Wilderness, the Bruins earned 4 out of a possible 6 points, while the Norsemen, only 3 points behind the Bruins, went 1 for 3.
I think you've heard enough from me at this point. Let's go ahead and turn it over to our very talented broadcasters across the division, as everyone has sat down with a player or coach from their team. We'll kick things off with our good friend up in Cloquet, Marty Hill. Marty?
Hey folks, we are here with Grant Doctor, the hero of the night, as the Wilderness beats the Minot Minotauros in the second game of the series. Nice job, Grant.
Thank you.
Gets the game winner with 58 seconds left in the overtime. Walk us through the play.
To be honest with you, I don't really remember exactly what happened. I think Sartz made a great play up ice at about a blue line, and I got a puck, and I kind of saw the D-man was playing the 2-on-1 really well. He left his feet, and I just tried to pull the puck around his stick and got lucky with a shot and got my own rebound, and lucky enough to get it in.
How about that goaltender? How tough was he tonight? You guys really had to work with those two goalies.
Yeah, he's been playing well. They have two good goalies, and I think the goalie tonight played really well, and he was really tricky to score on, and hats off to them. Credit to their team. They played really well tonight.
Just a grinded out kind of victory. I mean, it really had to be emotional at the end there.
Yeah, it did. It was pretty cool to be able to get the winner and to win for the boys, and we ended up getting 2 days off for that. We kind of made a deal. If we won tonight, 2 points equals 2 days off, and I think we needed that. We were all pretty tired, so the boys were pretty pumped about it.
4 points on the weekend, too, if you include the win against Bismarck. These are big points moving into this next stretch here.
These are huge points for us. Yeah, we really need these, and we're just trying to hold on to a playoff spot, even move up if we can. I know these guys are ahead of us, and they're a good team, and Bismarck's a good team. We want to be playing our best hockey coming down the stretch here.
All right, congratulations again on the win, and Grant Doctor here getting the game winner for the Wilderness side. They beat Minot by a final score of 2-1 in overtime here in Cloquet.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Grant Doctor on Thursday night, getting his own rebound to win it in overtime, as you heard there from Marty. We're going to keep things going. We're going to keep it right here in Minnesota. Let's go on up to St. Cloud. We're going to hear from Mark Shelley. Mark, who do you got there with you?
Thanks a lot, TJ. Mark Shelley here, the voice of the St. Cloud Norsemen, and I'm here with rookie goaltender Paxton Geisel, 17 years old, and you're thrust into a really interesting position here this season, Paxton. You come from Dallas, where you had great success there, committing to Denver University, and a lot of expectations. And how in your first season of the NAHL have you sort of pushed all that aside and said, I'm here to grow as a goaltender and start working towards that goal of playing at Denver in Division I hockey?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, you just got to stay focused on the development side of this year. There's not much else to really go on. I mean, obviously making playoffs is a big thing because that's a good experience for me, but it's all about the growth and development this year. So luckily, Pete, our goalie coach, he's been really good on keeping me on track with just worrying about here and now and being present.
Well, one thing's for certain, you got a heavy workload in the first part of the season. Here in the later stages, a little bit more relaxed for you. Only a couple of starts here and there, sort of spreading out the workload, not trying to wear you down over this long season as it is every year in the North American Hockey League. But especially here in the Central Division with as powerful as some of these teams have been and just how competitive these games always are. How has that sort of benefited you? And then how do you stay sharp when you do get the nod here later in the season?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, getting that rest and being able to get a break, so staying fresh for games is huge for, especially a push late in season like this. And I talked to Corey about this too. Having two goalies right now, it's key, and especially if we're both playing good, we can both, go 1-2 and then have the night off. So it's been good for us.
Well, ultimately this season, you've had some growing pains, but you've ultimately climbed back. Where would you rate this in terms of overall looking at this season so far for you, saying, I've grown in these aspects? Where have you seen the most growth in your game as you've seen a lot of 20-year-olds taking shots against you night in and night out and sort of having that age gap and that experience gap? But what has been the most sort of growth that you've seen?
Probably in the pace of play and how fast I'm going around and, reading plays. That's the difference between the youth level and juniors. You have to make reads faster and quicker, so it's good about that. It's been really good for development, like I've said again, so it's been good.
So what's it been like being the youngest guy on a squad? Early on in the season, there were a couple of youngsters on the team, but all along this season, you've been the youngest Norseman on the side. You were 16 when you joined the team in the offseason, and now 17 years old, but still the youngest. A lot more 20-year-olds on this team, 18, 19. So how do you manage being the youngest guy, and do you get that little brother mentality where they pick on you a little bit?
Yeah, I get picked on it for a little bit, but it's all fun and games. It's a really good group of guys, so they'll give me a couple of shots about it, but it's good. Stay focused in it.
Well, there's one other person that's kind of picking on you here, and it almost makes me feel bad saying this. I've been picking on you because actually before this interview occurred, you and I did some video work, and that's one of the cool things about being at our facility here is we have some of the time to be able to shoot some great content for the Norseman social media. And we're not going to spoil what it is, but we're not going to spoil the result. But let's just say you and I sort of trade places, if you will. I don your pads, and certainly, the result, we'll keep that secret, but there's some trash talking between us. Yeah. But, how exciting is it to be able to make that content and be able to sort of not just be able to play hockey, but be part of a brand here in the Central Division?
It's really fun. It's a lot different than obviously youth hockey last year. It's just, we just go out and play, but being a part of, the organization as a whole and, reaching out to the fans and media, it's been really fun, actually.
Well, Paxton, you guys have 3 in 3 coming up this weekend. Games in 9 days. You have 6 games. You had 3 games this weekend, 3 games coming up. Before we let you go, how do you mentally prepare yourself for this long stretch, especially down in the end of the season?
Yeah, you just gotta, you can't be too high, you can't be too low on anything. If you have a bad game, you just gotta rebound back from it, short memory, and get back into it.
Well, Pax, best of luck the rest of the season, and we're gonna send it back to you, TJ.
One of the youngest and most promising not only goaltenders, but players in all of the NAHL right there with Mark. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and switch gears here, and we're going to head on up to North Dakota, where Peter Theodos is speaking with Max Bogdanovich. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, TJ. I'm here with Toros forward Max Bogdanovich. Max, you had a great honor this weekend of scoring your first career goal. Walk me through how you scored it.
Yeah, so kind of, came in hard on the forward check. Forced the puck over to the far wall, and teammate Trevor Stahoyak came around and forced it off the guy's stick. Came in, quick shot, and I was driving net and buried it away right in the crease.
And as I said, it was your first career goal, and that had to have felt good.
Oh, finally. Long time coming.
So you actually have a really interesting off-season hobby. Most guys go golfing, some work for construction companies. Mm-hmm. Share with the fans what you do in the off season.
Yeah, so actually the past couple of years I got into tuna fishing and lobstering. I've been lobstering ever since I was about 11 years old, and slowly grew my way up, from 150 traps, keep building. It's now tuna fishing. I had a good summer last summer doing it, recovering from a surgery, so I had to take about a month off from it, but made the best out of it.
What made you interested in tuna fishing and lobstering?
Kind of being on the coast growing up, in the summertime we have a house out on the island off the coast of Maine, so a lot of people out there, generations, families, grew up doing that. So kind of slowly taught my way with that, and then my buddy, the Christiansons, they kind of showed me into the ropes of tuna fishing, and I took it into my own hands and taught myself everything, and kept building. It took about 2 years to catch the first tuna, so it wasn't just a easy thing to do, so had to stick to it.
You do have your commitment. You're committed to the University of Maine.
Yep.
What do you plan on studying there?
Marine biology or mechanical engineering. Those are kind of where it's at right now. So I got to decide if I want to stick with the ocean or go into the whole engineering field.
How has hockey helped you get to where you are today, and how do you think hockey is going to help you progress forward on with however you want to take your career?
I think hockey, kind of a big thing, with prep school and everything, would be communication and meeting new people, kind of having that communication with your teammates and taking that to the outside world to have communications with, per se would be a business partner and the whole tuna thing or something like that. Being able to communicate with people, communicate with older people, having that captain role at Cushing was, big, being able to communicate with other people on the team. So I really think hockey has a lot to do with communication and being an advocate for yourself and speaking out to others. The friendships, all the things like that you're going to make along the way.
So obviously you have your own boat. What's the name of your boat, and what was the reason why you gave it that name?
So everyone, basically ever since a little kid, always would call me Bog Z or Bog Z, things like that. So my boat name is Bog C. SEA as in, the sea, ocean.
Makes
so it's
sense.
Bog C. That's the boat name.
Back to you, TJ.
Keeping things in North Dakota, broadcaster and media relations talent Andrew Weiss in Bismarck. Andrew, who do you got there with you this week?
Thanks, TJ. I'm here with Bobcats forward and captain Austin Schwartz. Schwartz, obviously a long road trip this past weekend for you guys. Able to pick up the win Friday night and 2 losses on Thursday and Saturday. It's going to wear on you a bit. It's 3 games in 3 days. What are you guys looking for this weekend against the best team in the division right now in Aberdeen?
We're just looking forward to learning from our mistakes this weekend and getting ready to play a full 60 minutes on Friday night.
The Bobcats did get that big win on Friday night, 6-1. The final. Schwartzy, you had a part in that win for the Cats. What really felt like it was working for you guys that night? How do you replicate that against the Wings?
We were just playing physical, playing our style of hockey, getting pucks in deep, and taking care of our D zones, taking care of Tommy. And our goal this weekend is just kind of play that same style and give our best effort every shift we get. And when bad things happen, just let it go and build on for the next shift.
Obviously, some up and down moments this past weekend on the road in Minnesota, but wins in 5 of your last 7 games. When the puck's going in, when you guys are getting those W's, what does it feel? What feels like it's working well for you guys?
Our energy on the bench is just really high. We're just trying to create as much energy as we can, play offense, play defense, just play Bobcat hockey the way that Lane and Hendy want us to play, and we'll be just fine.
This weekend's the first time you guys will be playing the Aberdeen Wings since January 1st and 2nd. It's been a while, but I know that hostility, that rivalry is still there. It's still simmering below the surface. What do you guys... what's the plan of attack against the Wings team that's been so red hot this season?
We're looking forward. They're a great program, and they're having a great season this year, but we're looking forward to trying to take a run at them and make a statement coming in playoffs.
Bobcats with their next 4 games against the Aberdeen Wings, home and home this weekend, a home and home next weekend. Should be fun to watch, and you can catch that on Super Talk 1270 as well as Hockey TV. Austin, appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend against the Wings.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Back to you, TJ.
Really good stuff there, guys. Really appreciate it. You can see the couple of stitches there underneath Austin's, right underneath his lower lip. It was certainly a tough battle between the Bruins and Bismarck Bobcats this past weekend at Riverside Arena. Speaking of Riverside Arena and the Austin Bruins, earlier this week, I talked with our goaltender, Tyler Shea, being a veteran goaltender, what it's going to take for the Bruins to earn that final playoff spot.
Tyler, thanks again for taking the time to join us here and talking with the Bruins fans and all the NAHL Central Division fans that are out there.
For sure. Thanks for having me on, TJ.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the big night that you had just a few nights ago last Saturday against the Bismarck Bobcats. Came out, played a stellar game, so calm and so poised. It's hard to think that a goaltender couldn't build off the momentum that the team had. On Friday night, kind of getting blown out, not having a good game. Everybody seemed to come into the arena with just this attitude. Could you feel that attitude kind of hanging in the air? Do you think it kind of got you pumped up and ready to go for Saturday night?
A little bit. I think coming off of Friday night, I think we kind of had to go back to the drawing board because obviously we had a great game on Wednesday, and unfortunately the Friday night game didn't go our way. And I think there's a lot of variables that led to that. So I think coming into the rink Saturday morning, we hit the reset button, taking the day to kind of everyone get kind of calm, cool, and collected. Let's move on. New day. Let's go get these 2 points here. I personally have not beaten the Bismarck Bobcats in any of my 3 years here yet. So I had a little, some personal reasons to go and take that win, but the team played unbelievable in front of me. We had a few penalty kills that they came up big with some huge block shots. And it was great to have the team come together there in the third period, especially Oki getting his first 2 goals. It was nice to have some pad in there going in the last 10 minutes. And then from there, we kind of just put our foot to the gas and was able to come out of there with a 5-1 win. So now looking back on it, I think it was just a way that the team, everyone kind of hit the reset button. I think that was the biggest thing, and everyone did that really well.
I know that you came on in relief on Friday night, so you only had about 10 minutes or so against the Bismarck Bobcats to see the style of play that the Bruins were playing in front of you. But what do you think was the big difference of the guys in front of you from Friday night to Saturday night? Was there certain things that they just maybe weren't doing Friday night that they started doing Saturday to make your job a little bit easier, whether it's blocking shots, keeping shots to the outside? What was the big difference there defensively, or on the back end, I should say, between what you saw Friday and Saturday?
I think I don't think there was any X's and O's that made a big difference. I think it was just the way that we stepped on the ice. I think the confidence factor that we wanted to ooze when we stepped on the ice. We wanted the other team to feel our presence. I think that was a big thing. We on the back end, I think the guys on the defense, they did their job. I think that was a huge thing. They came out and, we're making the first pass. We're doing their job and doing it well. So that way the offense just kind of had to go do their thing down on the other end. It made my life pretty easy. So honestly, I don't think not much change. It was very fit. We're splitting hairs when we're talking about what happened on Friday night, what happened on Saturday night. I mean, they blew us out. We blew them out. And honestly, you're split. Like I said, we're splitting hairs. So I think it was just a little more poise, a little more, everyone hit the reset button. And unfortunately, I don't think anything necessarily went wrong on Friday. I think it was just one of those nights. So I think now that we got that win on Saturday, I think it'll be good that we have that momentum carrying on to this week in the 3 away games we have. So
in Saturday night's game, somebody rung you in the bell in warmups. I can't remember who it was. Did you make sure you gave them grief after warmup? Like, come on, man.
I just tried to reset. I'm not going to name any names, but it did kind of lock me in though. It was kind of weird. Obviously, you don't really want to get hit in the head in warmups, especially when you got a painted bucket on. But it's all good. We got the win. So after the game, we were able to shake hands and kind of laugh about it. So it was just unfortunate, but I did end up getting rung during the game. So kind of prepared me for that one.
Maybe that has to be a tradition now. Next time you get to start, someone's just going to have to bean you in the bucket before the game.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
When you look forward to these games, I mean, this is your second full year in the NAHL. So you've been in this situation before. The Bruins right now just outside of a playoff spot, and it's definitely still within reach. What's the atmosphere like? What's kind of the mantra that the team's really been getting behind to make this push with just, 12, 11, 10 games left?
I think we all know our backs against the wall. We're trying not to have the clock strike midnight right now. I think that's the big thing that, I'm using as motivation every time I step on the ice. That's kind of in the air in the locker room. It's, time's running out. We got to make something happen. We got to make it happen now. So I think this last weekend we won, we got 4 of 6 points, and that was huge. So I think we just got to keep building. Now's not the time to go do anything out of the ordinary, kind of go through the routine, step on the ice and, grind. That's the biggest thing. We got to grind through it. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. We got to make up 5 points on the Wilderness, and they got a few games in hand. I know the St. Cloud just had a big win last week. So we're kind of right in the middle there where it's time to make some moves. And, I think everyone in the room understands that, and we're ready. The whole season we've been waiting to turn a corner, and right now I'm forcing the issue. We're forcing the issue. We're gonna make it happen one way or another. I know we know our backs are against the wall. Honestly, I thrive in the pressure. I want that pressure. So that's my attitude. That's the team's attitude, and we're gonna go in and go balls to the walls every single time we hit the ice.
The Bruins schedule is going to lighten up here as we go forward. As you mentioned, there's a couple teams that still have some games in hand on us, so we have to slow down a little bit to allow them to catch up. When you look back at all of those basically 3-game-a-week setups that the Bruins had as a goaltender, did you like that? Now, I know you and Hudson are kind of sharing the crease pretty evenly so far. I mean, you have way more games played than he does, but as of lately, it almost seems like every other night one of you guys is in, but it's still a lot less time between starts this, during this run than in a normal year where maybe you play Friday, Saturday the next week, and there's 8 days between starts. Do you like having that many starts and the opportunity to get out there and take some pucks?
For sure. I think, you're coming out and, that you play on Wednesday, you're going to, be back in the crease on Friday and possibly Saturday. So I think that's also something else that at this league doesn't really do. I mean, we don't really play Wednesday games ever. It's usually Friday, Saturday night every week. So when you're playing Wednesday night, when you get to around 30 games, 35 games, the body starts taking on some wear, getting tired. So I think that we're trying to split up the minutes here, because obviously if you play 3 games a week, at some point you're going to have to give the body a rest, let the other guy play. And I think at some point, it's just at that point in the season where now you better make sure your body's good, because you got whoever's going to get the win. Like you got to put your best foot forward at this point.
That's right.
So I think that's kind of where the team is at mentally with everyone from the goalies to the defense to the forwards. You got to earn your spot in that lineup every night. So, but playing the amount that we have been playing, and it's nice to have, that pro type schedule. It's different. I don't think anyone on this roster has ever experienced anything like that. And it's really cool to experience what the pros do. And, it'll be cool that I think we have a few more of those, and then we go back to 2 games a week, like you said. So we got to try and get as many points as we can in these next few weeks with the 3 games we have coming up this weekend, next week. And then, everything will kind of shake out from there.
Well, it definitely sets you guys up for the college level, because obviously they only play, 24, 25 games a year, and they're a lot more spread out. So if you can handle these 3 games a week, you can most certainly handle it when you get to college. So Tyler, thanks for the time, and go lock them down in that crease as the Bruins try to make this push to the playoffs.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, TJ.
And last but certainly not least, the leaders in the division, the divisional champs, Aberdeen Wings. It's Jay Kleinknecht. Jay, who do you got there with you?
Thanks, TJ. For our portion of the Central Intelligence Show, we've got Christian Abrams, defenseman extraordinaire, joining me from Dallas, Texas. Christian, thanks for coming on and talking with us a little bit here on the Central Intelligence Show. One of the things that I found interesting with you was that you came from Amarillo to Aberdeen. Yep. Not everybody that I get a chance to talk to has had an opportunity to play in another division, and I wanted to get your take on playing in the South and what it's like versus the Central Division, and what some of the differences are, if there are any.
Yeah, Amarillo was my first, kind of home, but there is a little bit of the difference from the Central to here, or from the South to the Central, but it's more gritty, more kind of just like a FU mentality, body first, always on the puck first, and just using your body 24/7. That's what the coach preaches. But yeah, I mean, that would be the
speed, a little more skill in the Central. You thinking?
Yeah, a little bit more, definitely a little bit more speed in the Central. But other than that, I think it's pretty plain Jane.
Excellent. Okay. I always want to get a little glimpse of someone's personality and what they like to do away from the rink. Do you have any hobbies or anything that you like to do, or anything you're passionate about, whether it be fishing or hunting or golf or whatever?
Definitely being from Texas, I love fishing. Bass fishing is in my blood for sure. But I also do golf every now and then. I would say I'm not the best golfer. Some of the guys can vouch for that on the team. But every ping pong every now and then just outside activities, whether it be basketball, wiffle ball, something just to involve the whole team. So.
Yeah. Okay. Not a whole lot of bass around here, but
no.
There's some fish to be caught, as
sure.
Reader and Verdez has pointed out in weeks past here too. But all right, well, we've got Bismarck coming up. Home with them. You've got back at home Friday night, of course. So as a team, what do you have to prepare, or how do you prepare for Bismarck?
I think it's like any other game. You have to treat it like a playoff game. So, playoffs are coming around the corner. So we just have to be mentally prepared as we are chasing that President's Trophy. So, just mentally be prepared, because this is, like I said, one of the last home games. So, we just got to come out, be prepared, and give it to them. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do what we can, right? And
yes,
that'll pretty much do it for this portion or the Aberdeen Wings portion anyway, of Central Intelligence. Back to you, TJ.
Some excellent stuff from all across the division. But now that we've got things from last week out of the way, let's shift our focus. We're going to turn ahead and take a look at what's upcoming this week.
For the second week in a row, the Bruins kick things off with a Wednesday matchup against the Minnesota Magicians, this time on the road up in Richfield. Austin comes into the game having defeated the Magicians in their last and only meeting so far this season. The Magicians battle another Central Division team on Thursday. This time, it's the St. Cloud Norsemen at the St. Cloud Municipal Athletic Complex. These two teams have met twice before this season, with both clubs earning a win. The Magicians won Game 1 by the smallest of margins, 3-2, and most recently, it was the Norsemen who put up a 5 spot to earn the 5-2 victory. As for the games this weekend, the division's top 2 teams, the Wings and Bobcats, will meet for a pair kicking off on Friday at the Odie in South Dakota. The Bobcats will then welcome Aberdeen to the VFW Sports Center on Saturday night to complete the weekend series. Bismarck is still hunting for their first win of the season against the Wings. They, along with the Bruins, are the only 2 teams to not have defeated Aberdeen this season. The Norsemen and Wilderness will also play a home-and-home series this weekend, beginning at Northwoods Credit Union Arena on Friday and wrapping up at the St. Cloud Mac on Saturday. Going into this weekend, only 8 points separate the two teams, as there's loads of importance on this particular series. And the Minot Minotauros play host to the Austin Bruins for a couple of games this weekend, the first time the teams have seen each other at Pepsi Rink at Mesa Arena since December of 2020. Most recently, however, Minot completed a sweep of the Bruins in Austin just a few weeks ago.
That'll do it for this week's edition of NAHL Central Intelligence. My name is TJ Shalott, voice of the Austin Bruins. Next week, we're going to have a different host, but we're going to have even more information as this playoff picture starts to take shape. Before we get going, we're going to leave you with the best plays of the week from this past week to get you all revved up and ready to go for this weekend's matchups between the Aberdeen Wings and Bismarck Bobcats, Austin Bruins and Minot Minotauros, and of course the St. Cloud Norsemen and Minnesota Wilderness. Let's take a look at the top plays from last week. And oh, by the way, if you want to see these happen live in real time, make sure you get that subscription to Hockey TV. We'll talk to you all next week here on NAHL Central Intelligence.
And drop back to touch up, but no, they get the line change in as the Bobcats will send it down into the Bruins zone. Bialski will give chase. Riddle pokes it free, puck in the corner. Zacher and Taylor will engage. Taylor up the wall now for Bell. John Bell gets it back towards the front of the net, poke free for Grant. He'll make a move in front, and he scores. Beautiful feed. It was Bell with the shot on net. I believe Taylor poked it over to George Granis alone in front. He faked the shot, got Hodges to drop, and then snuck it in behind him. It's now 4-1. Mason Coleman out to center ice. He'll dump it in. Bruins will get a line change. Aiken by his own net will stop it for Pico. To the far side corner for Bergslund. Ahead for Granis. He'll flip it to center ice for Tim Bialski. Here he comes with a full head of steam. Bialski racing into the attacking zone. Over for Taylor. He'll fire. He'll score. The hammer line strikes again. It's Ryan Taylor. He makes it 2-1 Bobcats. A big goal for Taylor. How about Tim Bialski? Bobcats get it back to center quickly. Rojo will dump it in off the side of the linesman. And now Bergson will play it back to center. Taken back by the Bruins. It's Rojo into the attacking zone. Drops it off looking for Pullman. Bobcats able to clear it ahead. Here's Jack Conroy. Full head of steam up the ice. He'll go wide on Dvorny. Conroy cuts the middle. He'll fire. And he scores. Jack Conroy rips it over the glove of Shea. He makes it 6-1 Bobcats with his second goal of the night. The Cats have put up 3 goals here in the third. Jack Conroy.
Jacobs sending this one into the Bismarck zone. They're going to play out to center. Lands to Frank Dvorny. Over to Kyle Oleksiak. He's a guy that I've called his name a lot tonight. He's had some great opportunities, but hasn't really gotten the chance to get on the board just yet. So I'd love to see him get one here as he comes in and takes that one away from Aiken. Oleksiak back to the point in Dexheimer. Dexheimer shot through traffic. Redirection. They score! Connor Millimak with the goal, his second point of the night, and the Bruins are on top 4-1.
What a nifty redirection. You just mentioned Oleksiak. It's because of his work and his hard play down low that goal took place as he came through and stripped it off of Aiken. Aiken's teammates should have been letting him know that some pressure was coming in the form of Kyle Oleksiak. He was able to strip him off that puck, get it to the corner, get it up to Dexheimer. It was Dexy that went ahead and that neutral zone.
Long pass ends up on Aiken's stick. He plays this one out, turns it over. Bruins with a shot. They score! Austin Bruins get their 2-goal lead back 3-1. 16:22 left to go here in the third.
Kind of a giveaway from Tommy Aiken. Ended up paying the price for that decision.
He looked like he tried to fake him out, and when he went the other direction, the Bruins just picked it off. It's Ben Oakland with the goal, and Ben Oakland, congratulations on your first NAHL goal. Keep that puck, young man.
He's certainly.
Zimmer banks back to the point in Mickle. Mickle with time, flips one through traffic, tip, rebound, hacked home Westland. A power play goal with 5:29 left to go here in the third. Catch stepped into by Thomas. It's banked ahead on the near side. Rolison sweeps it into the zone. Anderson giving chase. McKay lost the handle. Rolison looks across. Tippett's in. Ethan Schmunk on the doorstep. It should be from Brett Rollison. And wings find it, Frazier. Frazier leaves to the far side. Schneider back, tip play, goes up and over with help from the blocker by Clafton. Gathers, Stibbe. Long toss ahead, finds Buchholz. Buchholz has Kostelecki in, shot, it's in. Toros lead 2-0. The near side, it didn't get through for Warner, but it finds Westland, tip play, it's in. Kostelecki banks in for Stibbe. Stibbe delays, looks back for Kostelecki, shot, it's in. Coming on a change, plays it back to Westland. Westland walks in, wires, that one poked home. Warner, Blaine Warner with the hat trick goal, makes it 6-1 Toros.